Found one after 15 years of searching. It is the Aphex Aural Exciter tube prototype, supposedly called the 402, made right around 1975. Made, and there's only 5 that existed in the whole world, and now there may only be 3. 15 years of searching. What the hell is this, you're saying? You don't know anything about this. This is rack gear. All right, might be one of the most, a very important element in 1970s recording history. So what this thing did is basically save the Fleetwood Mac Rumours album in a way. Okay, let me explain. So this album had a long recording process over a year, and with the analog tape over time, it kind of loses its fidelity, kind of like the high end, I guess you could say, near the end of the process if it's a long time of recording, right? And what this Aural Exciter would do, this tube prototype, it saved the album because what they did is, this is a whole story in itself. If you look at the Fleetwood Mac Rumours recording history, it's just absolutely insane. But anyway, they worked so hard to get this perfect sound for the album, right? And when they did the finished product, they noticed something was off. You know, they didn't have the fidelity like it used to. So they ran it through this tube Aphex Aural Exciter prototype, and that it got the sound that it's iconic for. And so what does it do? So people think it's like an EQ. It's not this. It's kind of like adding presence, like a high-end presence, but it does it by harmonic distortion. Okay, so like it adds kind of like a presence in the highs, but it doesn't really raise the volume of the highs, I guess is way to say it. It's not like taking an EQ and just boosting all the highs. It's not like that. It does something different, something unique. This thing you could only rent. You couldn't even buy it at the time. They're insanely expensive. And then later on, they made a 402 solid state version. That's a little different. That was also rentable. And then also they made some other versions. I'm going to get to that. So it saved the Fleetwood Mac Rumours album, and he had to put in the credits. This was recorded using the Aphex Aural Exciter, which if it was something, this thing was probably used on so many 70s albums, a lot of them. Another one is Linda Ronstadt, like the Simple Dreams one, I think, and the album before that, actually. And the Simple Dreams album, I think, bumped out the Fleetwood Mac Rumours album from #1, I believe. I have to double check on that. So here it is. I'd searched for 15 years. Like I had a saved search on eBay for like 15 years, and I never found one. One of these popped up. The guy knew what he had. He was trying to get a lot of money. But there's one gigantic problem with this, guys. The Exciter cards that are in this are supposedly missing. So it's like, it's impossible to get work, and I won't find parts for it. Because you might, and now there's only 5 that exist in the world that were ever made, and I think only 3 exist. You might think, who the hell would take the Exciter cards out? So back in this happened in the 60s a lot. They didn't want people to like copy the design or whatever, so they'd actually destroy the units. And I think this is what happened with this unit. They didn't destroy it, but they took the Exciter cards out, so it's like you can't really do anything with it. Now, this is a secret going on with this thing, because our Waves, they copied this, right? They actually found an original one that called Aphex up, and they said, hey, do you got one? They said, yes, which I guess they didn't even know they had it. They couldn't even find one. And they let them borrow it, and they made a plugin from it, right? And I've been trying to get information on this thing because I want to get photos so I can try to restore this to the best of my ability. No one's given me anything. I called Aphex. They're no help. I tried to talk to Valgaray. He has one. And actually, if you type in Valgaray Aphex, there's a video of him talking about this. He was no help. And Kurt Knoppel, the guy who made these, he's dead. The co-owner, he's like 70, probably close to dead. I can't get a hold of them. If you have any information on this or pictures or anything that can help me out, please send them to me, because I am running into dead ends everywhere I go. As you can see, it's in rough shape. And I think, so they call it the 402 now. What's interesting, they got these 420 input, 420 outputs. I didn't even plug the damn thing in because this cord is frayed. I got to take it to someone. I'm not even going to attempt to even see what's going on with it. And there's also a limiter in this, but so I don't know what's missing, what's not. I know there's a plate that's supposed to be right here, and it's not. The cords, it's all a big mess. But like I don't have the manual. I have no idea what's going on. I'm not a pro audio expert, right? I know a little bit about amps, but like this is way past my ability. I talked to Aphex's head guy that fixes stuff, and he's like, I don't know what to do, man. It's like you're on your own. And I tried, again, I tried contacting Aphex, the people who I just want pictures, real pictures of the original. I only found one picture on all of the internet, and it's this one right here. you know, besides my unit. This is like from a magazine. This is the original unit, right? And you can tell I'm missing this top cover here, but I can't find any other pictures of it, all right? So I want to make this a cool restoration kind of project kind of thing, because this thing is really unique. Paul McCartney used it on a piano. He had one for a little bit, but there's only 3 that exist in the entire world as far as I know. And this is something that's so iconic and should be preserved and put down in history. But no one is helping me. I can't find any information. Aphex said, you know, like they're like, oh great, a guy found one. Now what are we gonna do? It's really interesting. All right, guys. So I'll kind of make a catch-up video on this later on. I'm gonna see if I can find someone that can help me out with this thing and see if there's anything I can do. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have it as a museum piece and look at it, and that's about it.